Hi, my name is Dr. Lauren Costine and welcome to my video blogs. So the last segment we talked about heteronormativity and heterosexism and defined those and kind of set the framework for these other important concepts we're going to talk about now, which is the phobias. So there's several of them. There's homophobia, there's lesbian phobia, there's biphobia, and there's transphobia. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. But lesbian phobia is a concept that I started using several years ago to explain the concept that there is homophobia and misogyny that are together that a lesbian has to deal with. So because we live in a homophobic society and we still live in a misogynistic sexist society, a lesbian is dealing with both of those oppressions. So then there's bisexuality, and they deal with biphobia, and unfortunately bisexuals deal with, some biphobia in the LGBT community. They're not always accepted by their gay or lesbian friends, and in the straight community there also can be discrimination. So there's definitely some difficulty and challenges with that. And then of course with transphobia, it's a newer identity. And it's still very, very scary to the general population on a lot of levels, and they suffer from and deal with a lot of discrimination and a lot of issues from society, which has this notion that gender has to be a specific way, or you have to stay connected to the sex that you were born into. And for a trans person, they're born into a certain kind of sex, and that may not feel like the right sex for them. They feel like a man even though they were born female. So we're dealing with a lot of different kind of important concepts here, and they're big concepts, and this is what the LGBT community deals with on a daily basis. So we have these phobias, okay, and the society is phobic of these different sexual orientations and gender and identity issues. So what is a phobia? Well, a phobia is a fear and a hatred of these kind of sexual orientations and gender identities. So we have a society that doesn't understand it or doesn't want to understand it, or their religion has told them that it's wrong, and there's just this, severe hatred and condemnation of it. So a lot of LGBT folks have grown up in societies where it's considered a sin, or it's considered really bad or wrong. A lot of young LGBT youth who are just coming out are sometimes kicked out of their homes for being who they are. This is a big problem. They end up homeless in the streets. Or you just have a family that kind of tries to ignore what's going on there. You may come out to them and they may kind of accept it, but then they don't really accept your partner, or they don't, they keep thinking about how this is affecting them instead of how their attitude is affecting their child. So these are issues that most of us are dealing with. And this can even, plague us after we've come out, and we feel strong and happy about our identity. We can still still deal with the fact that we live in this kind of a society. So in the following segments, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how you can deal with that in a therapeutic and healing way. Thank you for listening.